Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on today is in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Now reports have been circulating around the media today saying that the likes of Juventus and Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Alexis Sanchez, and it does say that Juventus and Inter Milan have been in negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent. Now, obviously, we know that Alexis Sanchez is one of the problematic players for Manchester United, and we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear-out. But obviously, one of the players we do want to get rid of course, is Alexis Sanchez. But I can't see Manchester United, getting rid of him permanently, because obviously, there won't be any teams out there that can afford to currently pay him a staggering amount of wages off. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez is on £400,000 a week, £400,000 a week, so that means he's the highest paid player at the club. Is the highest paid player in the Premier League is Alexis Sanchez. But I think it came out, was it a couple of days ago in the media, that Alexis Sanchez's agent had been in Italy, negotiating with the Juventus director over Alexis Sanchez, possibly making a move to Juventus this summer. But I think it did say now in the Mirror that Manchester United may have to reportedly pay £12 million to Sanchez, to get him out of the club. And it also did say Manchester United are intending on probably, letting him go out on a long season loan. And I think Manchester United as well are willing to pay half of his current wages off, so we can currently get rid of him. So if he does go to Italy this summer, I think he'll get around £250,000 a week, Will Sanchez, because obviously Manchester United are willing to pay currently half of his current wages off. So I think the only way we can get rid of Sanchez is obviously getting rid of him through a potential swap deal, or sending him out on a long season loan. So I think this is what Manchester United are intending to do. But obviously, Sanchez has been very, very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. He's been here about 15, 16 months as Sanchez. It's been here about 15, 16 months, and when he's played, he just looks so restricted. Just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom and hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system. We do know mainly anywhere that Alexis Sanchez hasn't been first choice, but when he's played, he just has been so inconsistent. He doesn't have a future at the club. He is age 30 now. Is Sanchez. He has lost that yard of pace, and he has become an injury-prone player. Since he's come to Manchester United, he's out at the moment with an ankle injury after just initially, recovering from a knee injury. Sanchez, but I thought he'd have been a fundamental player, when we got him 16 months ago, reflecting back what he did at Arsenal, because he was really, really good at Arsenal. Obviously, when Sanchez was younger, obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola, but he just hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. So maybe Sanchez, maybe from his own perspective, maybe keen on making a return to Italy, because I think he's had experience of playing in Italy. I think this is when he was a lot younger. I think Sanchez, did play with under knees, if I am correct. But I think Man United are intending on getting rid of him on a long season loan, and I think that's the only way Manchester United can get rid of him, plus paying half of his current wages off. So we won't be able to get rid of him permanently, based on his staggering amount of wages, because there won't be any teams out there that can afford to currently pay it. So yeah, we've got to get rid of Sanchez this summer. I do believe we need to get rid of at least 5 players this summer. Obviously, as I did say to you guys, obviously all the players I want out of Manchester United, we're not going to be able to do that in one window. It's going to take a couple of windows, to resolve that problem, but we are looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the club. So it has said that Juventus and Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Alexis Sanchez. So I think he'll either go to Juventus on a one-season loan, or he'll go to Inter Milan on a one-season loan, and Manchester United pay currently half his current wages off. But it has said that Lukaku, could be going to Italy this summer, because he could be possibly leaving the club. But as I did say, between Sanchez and Lukaku, I know they could leave, but I don't think both of them will leave. I think maybe one of them will leave this summer, but I don't think both of them will. But talking about Lukaku, I think he could possibly, still leave this summer. Obviously, he's been heavily linked with a move to Italy. Juventus have been linked with him. I think also Inter Milan have been linked with Romelu Lukaku. But Lukaku has endured a difficult second season with Manchester United. Obviously, he's initially lost his place in the team. But Lukaku's well Premier League proven. He's got a really, really good pedigree in the Premier League as Lukaku. He has scored a lot of goals. But as I did say, he hasn't got the capabilities, to to play to the highest level. You know, he hasn't got that endless potential as Lukaku. And, you know, when it comes to him playing the big teams, he's a big game bottler. I've got reservations about him. You know, his first touch concerns me. Manchester United paid big money for him. You know, we paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, which had risen up the deal to £90 million. 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £250,000 a week. So I think it did say that Lukaku is considering, you know, quitting Manchester United. But yeah, so Man United, you know, will probably look to recoup the initial £75 million, you know, we did pay for Lukaku. So I think if we can get rid of Lukaku, you know, that's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition, because I don't think Lukaku is good enough for Manchester United. You know, he's 25 years of age, don't get me wrong. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I think Lukaku's agent, as I did say, you know, had revealed, was it a while back, saying that his future is very, very open. I think it did say Solskjaer was set to have talks with Romelu Lukaku. But Lukaku did well in his first season. You know, he scored 27 goals in all competitions, but I've got reservations about him. He's too slow, hasn't got that finishing asset. His finishing's very, very poor. He can score goals. Sometimes he can play better, you know, when he's getting that support up front. You know, he can look a bit more effective, but I think we do need to get rid of him. And I do believe we need a goal scorer in that team, because, you know, analysing it throughout the course of this season, you know, we haven't been ruthless enough in front of goal. We haven't been clinical enough, not scoring enough goals. You know, defensively, we've got issues. You know, we've leaked far too many goals. I think we've conceded 54 goals this season, as it did currently say, so that's really, really bad. And yeah, we've got to address the deficiencies in the squad this summer. We've got to address the deficiencies in the squad, you know, and we've got to resolve these problems in the summer, you know, because we are lacking in key areas. As I said, you know, we need a right back, we need a central defender. Some people have said we need 2 central defenders, we need 3 new additions in midfield, we need a right winger. So yeah, we've got to dig in hard in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer's going to get a spending speed of around £250 million. Obviously, we know the club wants to get a director of football, and obviously, as he updated you on the latest candidate name that's being mentioned, is obviously, you know, being Darren Fletcher. But it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows about the club, someone who has also, you know, got the experience. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is intending on bringing, you know, young players, you know, that can last many years at Manchester United, you know, that can grow, develop, and emulate into superstars. But he still believes we can attract players to the elite level. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? He still does believe this, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, you know, that he had been contacted by a number of agents, you know, saying that their players, you know, do want to come to Manchester United. But as I was saying, you know, we're at least we're a couple of years off Manchester City's level and Liverpool's level at least, and they're strides ahead of us at the moment. And obviously, we've got to invest this summer, because obviously, you know, the likes of City, Liverpool, maybe Arsenal, you know, they're probably not going to invest this summer. So it is very, very essential indeed. But yeah, Solskjaer showed an interest in quite a few young players, but I do believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be that top 4. You know, but our recruitment needs to be good this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy, it is extremely very, very poor. But as we all do know, Manchester United, you know, have been playing catch up for a long time. We've been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years, you know, since Alex Ferguson retired. Obviously, you know, we've had different managers with different philosophies since Ferguson's left. You know, a hell of a lot of money has been spent into the club. You know, we've seen players come in. You know, we've currently seen players leave. But none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so he's still in the process of rebuilding, of course. And yeah, so he is going to need backing this summer. I'm not critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet, but if this bad vein of form continues going on into next season, then I will be critical of him, and then I will want him out of my football club without a shadow of a doubt. But we haven't got the structure, you know, to keep sacking managers, because it went well when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. You know, the results were good, the performances were good, he exceeded expectation levels. But it just seems to have all gone wrong since he's got the job permanently, and he is starting to now. You know, he has been getting his team selections wrong, his tactics are very, very questionable. But the question is, has he got the stature to command Manchester United in that position? Because let's be honest, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, he had it as a player, but he hasn't really got it as a manager. But we'll see what happens in the summer. But as I do say, you know, get rid of Sanchez. I'd get rid of Lukaku, you know, because that will help us with our transition. Probably get rid of Paul Pogba as well. And you know, some United fans, you know, may be happy that he's probably leaving. Maybe some Manchester United fans are unhappy about it, because Paul Pogba is still one of the the best midfielders in the world without a shadow of a doubt, and he showed that, you know, when he in his 4-year spell with Juventus, of course. And obviously, you know, going back when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, you know, we saw glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form, and we mainly saw it in that 3-month period, and mainly we saw the best out of Paul Pogba, you know, when Ander Herrera was playing, because when Ander Herrera was playing, I know he's left the club now, but when Ander Herrera was playing, he was freeing up the likes of Paul Pogba, and that's when we saw the best of Paul Pogba. But I think, you know, at least in the last 7 or 8 games, you know, Paul Pogba's performances have been way below par, so that just emphasises that he doesn't want to be at Manchester United, you know, Paul Pogba. But as I did say, you know, Real Madrid, I think that's his likely destination, you know, where he's currently going to be going to Paul Pogba. But I think Paul Pogba's 13 million a year wage demands have currently stalled negotiations between Pogba and Real Madrid, because I think them wage demands do not fit the wage structure of Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are not willing to meet that 13 million a year wage demands. So it did actually say a while back that Real Madrid were not willing to match his £290,000 a week wages. So it did say that Paul Pogba would reportedly have to take some kind of a pay cut, you know, if he wants to make the move to Real Madrid. But he's demanding around 13 million a year, is Paul Pogba. But obviously, you know, this is what's I don't think, you know, this fits Real Madrid's wage structure. So now it has said that the talks between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid have currently stalled. But I still believe he'll probably end up making the move to Real Madrid. Pogba. Obviously, there has been talks going out today in the media saying that Barcelona are interested in Paul Pogba. I think Barcelona were linked to him last year. Obviously, I think his former club Juventus were linked to him last year based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. He was linked to a move away from the club, and obviously last year Paul Pogba wanted to leave. But now I think Barcelona have re-showed their interest again, and it did say Barcelona are willing to offer around £130 million for Paul Pogba, and it did say Barcelona could reportedly, you know, offload Ivan Rakitic, you know, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, I think they're preparing to put a bidding of around £130 million, as I said. Manchester United want around 150 or £160 million for Paul Pogba, but there has been speculation about Ivan Rakitic in the past, you know, saying that he could possibly, you know, leave Barcelona this summer. Because obviously, you know, looking at Barcelona, you know, they've got a hell of a lot of midfielders, and obviously Barcelona have got Frankie de Jong coming in this summer. Obviously, they agreed the fee with Ajax last summer for around £75 million, but it was a year in advance. So obviously, he's going to be a Barcelona player in the summer. Is Frankie de Jong, and it did say when Frankie de Jong comes in, you know, Ivan Rakitic, you know, could be surplus to requirements. You know, he could find game time very, very hard. So now the Daily Mail reports that they could get rid of Ivan Rakitic, you know, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But you know, Man United don't want £130 million. I think we want around 150 or 160 million pounds. And it did say Real Madrid were not willing to pay up to the 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba, you know, obviously his agent Raiola has been in the process, at least in the last month or two, you know, of trying to find him a new club. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his deal with Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United paid £89 million for him from Juventus, so he's been at Manchester United now over there 3 years. Obviously, Manchester United, we had Paul Pogba, you know, when he was a lot younger, of course. He joined Manchester United Youth Academy, was it in 2009? I think it was 2009. We actually got him from Lee Harvey, and I think this was actually, you know, under the Alex Ferguson era, but he didn't really get the chance, did Paul Pogba. I think he did go on to make a couple of first team appearances, you know, under Alex Ferguson, did Paul Pogba, but based on limited appearances, you know, Paul Pogba left the club on a free transfer and currently, you know, went to Juventus and had 4 fantastic years in Turin with Juventus, did Paul Pogba. But as I did currently say, I think he's probably, you know, going to leave in the summer. And now, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba's relationship is slowly fading, as I've recently, you know, read about, because, you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, managed the Manchester United reserve team, you know, he watched some of this team at this day and age grow and develop, as I said, and obviously, you know, one of them was Paul Pogba. So they have got a great relationship of Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think recent reports have said that their relationship is slowly fading. But I think his performances in the last 7 or 8 games, you know, have been really, really poor, and that just emphasises, you know, that he doesn't want to be at Manchester United. Going back weeks ago, you know, he was talking a lot about Real Madrid, was Pogba, you know, about his dream to play for them and all that. Obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player. Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player, and obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane has identified Pogba as his one of his priority targets. Obviously, his other priority target is Chelsea's Eden Hazard. I think now reports have said that Real Madrid have agreed a deal for Eden Hazard from Chelsea. I think is it around 86 million or is it 100 million pounds? Well, it didn't, as you say, Chelsea want around £100 million for him. I don't think it's been officially finalised as yet. I think it's set to be announced after the Chelsea-Arsenal Europa League final. So yeah, Eden Hazard's probably going to be going to Real Madrid. I think the contract's been agreed. I think the personal terms and that have been agreed. But he has been on Real Madrid's radar, for quite a while. But obviously, when Zinedine Zidane got reappointed as Real Madrid manager, obviously that had convinced Eden Hazard more to leave Chelsea and go to Real Madrid this summer. But Eden Hazard's been a great servant to Chelsea. Chelsea have had him 7 seasons. Chelsea won't be happy that he's leaving, of course, because obviously Chelsea now can't find an adequate replacement for him. Obviously, Chelsea have got a transfer ban. They can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows. Chelsea did appeal against the decision. But obviously, as you all know, they lost out on that appeal, did Chelsea, and they obviously got the transfer ban for tapping around minors. And this is why Chelsea got that transfer ban. But obviously, they're not going to be able to find a replacement for him. He's definitely, Chelsea's best player. I think he's made over 300 appearances in all competitions for them in 7 years. He's been there. I think Chelsea got him from Lille. But, you mainly see the best of Eden Hazard on that left-hand side. You mainly see the best of Eden Hazard on that left-hand side. Throughout the course of this season, you have quite a few times I've seen Eden Hazard, playing in that false number 9 position, but that's not his favourite position. You see the best of him on that left-hand side. Sometimes you can put Eden Hazard in that midfield, and he's still under contract with Chelsea till 2020, but Chelsea obviously, would rather cash in for him rather than letting go on a free transfer. I think Chelsea tried to convince him to sign a new contract. I think Chelsea were willing to offer him around £300,000 a week, but he couldn't turn this down, did Hazard. But yeah, still one of the best players in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. Some people say he's overrated, but I think now he's going to be going to Real Madrid, because I think a fee of around £100 million has currently been agreed. So now obviously Real Madrid are going to focus their intentions more on that of now getting Paul Pogba. So obviously Zinedine Zidane wants to invest in that Real Madrid squad this summer. It did say initially Zinedine Zidane was going to get around £300 million to spend this summer with Real Madrid. So yeah, it looks like they've got Eden Hazard on the board. Obviously, the struggling negotiation with Pogba, as I said, based on the £13 million a year wage demands, it does say in the media. So we'll see what happens. But I think we should get rid of Paul Pogba. If we can get around 140 or 150 million pounds, and that's going to help us with our rebuilding process, and it will help us with our transition. And with that money, we could get 2 players with that money, of course. And if Pogba leaves, as I said, we need 3 new additions in that midfield. I'm very, very disappointed that Manchester United are letting Ander Herrera go on a free. Let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. I'm very, very disappointed. So I think we've let a valuable player go. To be quite honest with you, you could say arguably Ander Herrera has been one of our best players. Since Alex Ferguson retired. Because when Ander Herrera is here, since Solskjaer's coming, analysing, when he has the games he has been playing in, the majority of the games he has been playing, we have won them. So that just shows how much of an impact Ander Herrera did make in that midfield for Manchester United. But fair play, he had 5 good years with the club. He made 189 appearances in all competitions. He won the Europa League with us, he won the League Cup with us, he won the FA Cup with us, did Ander Herrera. So he had 5 great years with Manchester United. But I'm disappointed that we let him go on a free transfer. Obviously, Manchester United couldn't convince him to sign a new contract, because it did allegedly say Ander Herrera wanted around £200,000 a week. But reportedly Manchester United were not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands. And to be fair, Ander Herrera is not worth £200,000 a week. But obviously now we've got to go in the market and find a replacement for him. And as I said, we've got to try and find a replacement for him. So we need a replacement for Herrera. Replacement for Paul Pogba. I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder also there that's faster and tenacious. So yeah, we've got to get we need creativeness in that midfield. We need someone that can score goals from that midfield. And yeah, so it's looking like Pogba's going. We definitely know Herrera's gone. And yeah, and I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder. But, to be quite honest with you, there has been news circulating around the media in the last couple of days. I might have actually, I did update you on this earlier on. I think a lot of Manchester United fans, would like to see, Nicolas Pepe, get recommended into the club in the summer. And there has been a lot of talks about him going on, and I think there's been quite a few teams that have attracted their interest in him. I think it says Manchester United have been interested in him, Arsenal have been interested in him, Liverpool have been interested in him. I think it said Bayern Munich have also been interested in Nicolas Pepe. And I think Nicolas Pepe, you know, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I think he's got all the attributes, you know, to succeed in the Premier League, you know, if he was to come to the Premier League. Reportedly, Man United are eyeing up a move of around £45 million for Nicolas Pepe, but there has been quite a few teams interested in him. You know, he's only very, very young as well as Nicolas Pepe. You know, he's only 23 years of age. You know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and he's the obvious candidate for that right win. You know, Nicolas Pepe is primarily a winner, so Manchester United have been linked to him. I think Man United have opened up negotiations with Lille, you know, to sign Nicolas Pepe this summer, but he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, you know, he's got immense talent, he's got loads of goals in him, as I said, loads of assists in him. You know, he's an absolutely fantastic player, of course, and I think he's been at Lille a couple of seasons as Nicolas Pepe. I think he's got a contract with them until 2022. And I do believe, you know, if he was to come to the Premier League, you know, Nicolas Pepe, you know, it would be the next step for him and the next level for him. So, yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. So, I'd love him to come into Manchester United. He's very, very young, as I said, and he has got a lot of years ahead of him. But I think, yeah, Manchester United are weighing up a £45 million move for him. So, yeah, there's been a lot of talks about him going on in the media in the last couple of days. And so far, he's spent the entirety of his career in France as the player. So, it would be good for him, you know, to come to the Premier League, so possibly could be playing his trade in the Premier League next season, but I'd love him to come to Manchester United. Other targets Manchester United have been interested in. We do know there's been a lot of talks about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Manchester United have been interested in him. Manchester City have been interested in him. You know, his passing ability is very, very good. He can score goals from that midfield. He can provide assists, as he's done throughout the course of this season with Sporting Lisbon. I think he scored about 30 odd goals this season for Sporting Lisbon. I think he's provided about 16 or 17 assists. So he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him. You know, he's only 24 years of age, is Bruno Fernandes. And I think Sporting Lisbon want around £60 million for him this summer. Yes, they want around £60 million for him this summer. And I think Man United are willing to meet his, Man United would pay £60 million over Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes has got an initial release clause of around 85 or 86 million pounds. So I don't think Sporting Lisbon are demanding for his release clause to be triggered in his contract with Sporting Lisbon, because he's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. So Bruno Fernandes could be possibly playing his trade in the Premier League next season, and that would be fantastic indeed, because obviously he's never played in the Premier League, well, not yet anyway. You know, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, you know, when he was young, you know, Van der Nees and Sam Pandora, you know, Bruno Fernandes, but he's been at Sporting Lisbon now a couple of seasons. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on, but it didn't initially say that City had dropped out of the race for Bruno Fernandes the other week, because it said City were in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon over the deal worth around £47 million, over the deal worth around £47 million for Bruno Fernandes, and it did say City were willing to offer one or two of their players as part of the deal. And obviously comparing Man United and Manchester City, obviously, you know, a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously, you know, Manchester City would be the much attractive option, but I think Manchester United are definitely, you know, still in for him, and I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder, so we'd see him as a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So I'd love him to come in our midfield. I think he'd bring depth in our midfield, and I think he'd dramatically improve our midfield. Obviously, City would see him as a replacement for Fernandinho. Fernandinho's actually, you know, primarily a defensive midfielder, so they're playing different positions, because Fernandinho's a defensive midfielder, Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder. So yeah, I really, really like him. Only 24 years of age, and has still got a lot of years ahead of him. And other midfielders United have been interested in. We do know there's been a lot of talks about Yuri Tillemans from Leicester City, and it says Arsenal and Tottenham have been interested in Yuri Tillemans. Again, very, very young, only 22 years of age. He's on loan at Leicester, only been on loan at Leicester since January. Leicester got him on loan from Monaco. I think from Yuri Tillemans' perspective, he has basically said he's expected to return to Monaco when his loan spell ends with Leicester. So there has been a lot of talks about Yuri Tillemans, of course. I think he's initially valued at around £40 million. This is what Monaco value him at. I think he's under contract with Leicester until 2022. Is Yuri Tielemans, but I think Leicester themselves are keen on getting a permanent deal for Yuri Tielemans, because obviously the likes of Man United and Tottenham and Arsenal have been monitoring an interest in him. But I think Leicester, do want to get him permanently. Yuri Tielemans, I think he's mainly a central midfielder, but there has been a lot of talks about him going on in media. So I love Yuri Tielemans and Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. I really like Declan Rice, and I do know Manchester United have been interested in Declan Rice from West Ham, and there has been a lot of talks about him. It has been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Declan Rice could be available for around £50 million. He's well Premier League proven. He's learned his trade in the Premier League as Declan Rice. He's been in the West Ham senior squad a couple of years. He's been at West Ham a number of years now as Declan Rice, but I've analysed his performances this season with West Ham, and they've been very, very impressive. And he's done, and I think he's done very, very well under Manuel Pellegrini as Declan Rice. He's British as well, and Solskjaer's emphasised an interest in quite a few British players. But Declan Rice is primarily defensive midfielder, and I think he can play as a centre back, but I think he's primarily defensive midfielder, and he's energetic. He breaks up the play very, very well, and he'd be fantastic, for Manchester United. In my opinion, he was initially a Chelsea player when he was a lot younger. He joined Chelsea's youth academy at the age of 7, and he was actually in Chelsea's youth setup a number of years. I think he got axed off by Chelsea at the age of 14. But he's grown and developed, fantastically well as Declan Rice, and he could be available for around £50 million. So there has been a lot of talks about him. You do know there's been talks about Everton's Idrissa Gueye. The reports coming about Idrissa Gueye last month. There has been in the last couple of days recent reports going on about Idrissa Gueye. So he's also being mentioned. So we've been interested in quite a lot of midfielders, and we've got to get at least 2 or 3 new additions in. And as I did say, we need a central defender, and there has been positive news that's been flirting around the media in regards to Koulibaly, and I love Koulibaly, to come to Manchester United, and if he was to come in, what a start to the summer, what that would be for Manchester United, because it'd be a big, it'd be a good signing, for Manchester United. I think he'd address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well, if he was to come in. Koulibaly is highly experienced, he's 27, nearly 28 years of age, and I'd love him to come and play his trade in the Premier League, next season with Manchester United. We haven't had a world-class central defender. Since we had the likes of Vidic, since we had the likes of Ferdinand, and we've got to get someone, that can partner him alongside Victor Lindelof. But I do believe, Koulibaly, would be a good leader in our back line. I think he's good in the air, he's good on the ball, he's strong, he's quick, and I think he's got all the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League as Koulibaly. And but he's never played in the Premier League yet. He's been in Italy, with Napoli about 5 seasons. Made over 200 appearances in all competitions. But Man United have been long admirers of him, and I think it did say Manchester United, we've identified him as our number 1 target. I think Manchester United would have to break the world transfer record, to get Koulibaly on the board, so maybe he's going to cost you around maybe at least 110 or 120 million pounds, but maybe Manchester United may try and get him for around 80 million pounds, because obviously the money we do get from Paul Pogba, if Paul Pogba leaves, which is still looking very, very likely, we don't want to waste the majority of that on one player, on Koulibaly. So maybe Man United will try and get him for around 80 million pounds. But I do really, really like him. I think it was last year Manchester United had 3 bids turned down for him. I think the recent bid was 95 million pounds that was turned down. Carlo Ancelotti has recently come out and revealed he's regarded him as one of the best centre backs in the world. So he'd be fantastic, for Manchester United, with Koulibaly. He's got a contract with Napoli till 2023. Recently signed this new contract. So I'd love him to come in. And talking about other defenders Man United have been linked with, we do know, obviously, Harry Maguire. A lot of Manchester United fans, would like Harry Maguire to come in. I'd love Harry Maguire, to come to Manchester United. He's well Premier League proven. He's 26 years of age. I don't think Manchester United are intending on, breaking the world transfer record for him. But I think he was previously valued at around 70 or was it 80 million pounds, Harry Maguire. But he's 26, he's tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. And Harry Maguire knows about the Premier League. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons now. I think Leicester only paid around £17 million for him from Hull City. last summer, should I say, he signed a new long-term contract with Leicester, so he's on the contract with Leicester till 2023. But Man United have got the financial power to meet his valuation. Obviously, we've also got the financial power to double his current wages. I can't remember how much he's currently on at Leicester, but Harry Maguire was talking a lot about, a while back, about him, playing in Champions League football, playing to the highest level. Obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season, but there has been a hell of a lot of talks by Harry Maguire going on. So it did say Man United, we could really show our interest in him. Obviously, Man United last summer were heavily linked with Harry Maguire, but he's 26, he's in his prime. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I can't compare him to Koulibaly because he's not in the same level as Koulibaly. Koulibaly would be my number one centre-back, who I would like Manchester United to get in. But I'd still take Harry Maguire any day of the week because I think he's still really, really good. Other defenders United have been interesting, of course. We do know a lot of United fans would like to see, Rafael Varane come in. But I don't see Rafael Varane coming in because I don't think, Real Madrid are willing to offload Rafael Varane. I think the only way we'd have any chance of getting Rafael Varane is if he was part of the deal with Paul Pogba. But Rafael Varane's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money anyway, even if he was for sale. Discarding his release clause being triggered because his initial release clause is about £400 million, is it? And obviously, discarding the swap deal, Rafael Varane's going to cost you way over £100 million, of course. And as I did say, maybe we don't want to spend too much money on one player. But yeah, there has been talks of Rafael Varane before. Other current defenders, you do know Toby Alderweireld from Tottenham. We do know he's a much cheaper alternative. Toby Alderweireld, he's available at around £25 million, is Alderweireld. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, but he's available, for a reasonable figure. So there has been a lot of talks about him. So yeah, a lot of central defenders have been mentioned because I think, Lindelof's been very, very good throughout the course of this season. Struggled in his first season, but he has been good throughout the course of this season. But I do believe the likes of Smalling and Phil Jones, are not good enough, to represent Manchester United. And comparing Smalling and Jones, I think Smalling's better than Jones. But I still want them both out of the club in the summer. But none of them are going to leave the club in the summer. So I do believe Smalling and Jones, still will be here at Manchester United next season. It was bad business for Manchester United, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract, and that was a mistake from Manchester United. And Eric Bailly, of course, I think he's going to be also on his way out. Eric Bailly's initially lost his place in the team, and I think he burst into the scenes, Eric Bailly, when he came into the Premier League. He did really, really well to begin with and all that, and obviously we got him under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously it was Jose Mourinho's first signing. We paid £30 million for him, but as I said, his Manchester United career has been affected badly, with the amount of injuries he's sustained, obviously with his fallout with managers. So yeah, I think we probably do need to get rid of Eric Bailly. So yeah, we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. I also expect Rojo to leave. I think he'll leave this summer. We can actually cash in for Rojo. I think Darmian needs to leave this summer. Obviously fullback, I think we need to get rid of Darmian, so we can cash in for Darmian and Rojo. We could get around £30 million for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. Obviously we need a right back as well. We definitely need to get a right back to come in. Obviously, we need a replacement for Valencia. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young. I do believe we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. So yeah, we definitely need a right back. De Gea, not sure what's happening with him yet because obviously, Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract. Obviously, if we don't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, obviously we'll want to cash in for him in the summer rather than letting go on a free in the summer of 2020. De Gea's been here about 8 years now at Manchester United. He's been here about 8 years now at Manchester United. I've admired his fantastic career so far. Obviously, he has been linked with a £90 million move with PSG. Reportedly, Real Madrid have been long admirers of him, David De Gea. But yeah, been a great servant to the club so far. Still potentially, the best goalkeeper in the world. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the verge of getting him back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, the deal didn't materialise, so he remained at Manchester United. I think he did say De Gea was demanding that he wanted around £350,000 a week for Manchester United if he was to sign a new contract. But if De Gea is to leave, obviously, we're going to need a replacement for De Gea. And I think Romero is still injured at the moment. I think Dean Henderson, I think we've got a goalkeeper as well called Dean Henderson. Obviously, we've got Lee Grant there, but I think, we may actually get rid of Lee Grant in the summer. So, yeah, there's lots to sort out at Manchester United this summer, as you all do currently know. We've got to make a decision what players are coming, what players are leaving. We've also got to make a decision, who's going to be the captain at Manchester United. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot to sort out, but The main part of this video is I wanted to give you an update on in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Now, reportedly, Juventus and Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Sanchez. They've had negotiations with Sanchez's agent, but I think Man United are willing to let him go on a season-long loan, because we can't get rid of him permanently, because obviously no team out there can afford to currently pay his wages off. So I think we're willing to get rid of him on a long season loan. Plus, we're willing to pay half his current wages off, and I think it did say Manchester United may have to pay around £12 million as well to currently to Sanchez, to currently get rid of him. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.